What is up, what if us? Welcome back to the channel. Today, you know, I got some of the creepiest, craziest, most outrageous TikToks that'll make you rethink everything. So you gonna wanna stay locked in, cause you ain't gonna believe this.
I told y'all on January 1st that this year was going to be the year for alien disclosure. They had 3 alien ads at the Super Bowl, and one literally tells us what's going to happen. And you're about to see the exact kind of alien that you're going to meet. It's not these. Listen.
Reports of flying saucers
Watch.
are nothing new. These are routine sightings, not isolated events.
Everything that happened last year. They're showing you what's about to happen.
An historic hearing and an unprecedented bipartisan push for UFO transparency.
I can't even. There he is. It specifically showed a gray. Of all different aliens they could put, it's a gray. They are behind it. Did you see that? I hope you saw that. It was quick. Watch, it's them, and all of a sudden he shakes his screen and it's back to the aliens. Again. A glitch, and he saw the truth, shook it, and it's back to normal. The grays. And 2 bonus ads. You know how I just showed you that tweet from Stephen King with a rabbit mask on? This is a commercial about people being abducted by white rabbits. White rabbits. Also, all this red is showing you a red wave. Trump is going to win. They already know. It's already planned.
People are waking up. Watch this.
So you can pick and choose. What it came down to for me is this. I see homeless folks in the streets of New York all the time that are American citizens. I damn sure see them in California. We've got poor, impoverished, starving people who were born and raised in this nation. How in the hell do we come up with a $53 million pilot program for illegals, but folks who are here legally are born here, we don't have enough of them? Just like we could come up with billions for Ukraine, but somehow, some way, we can't fix the homeless problem. I'm down for helping Israel. I'm down for helping address the situations with the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, okay? I'm down for helping the Ukrainians and fighting off Russia. What about poor and desolate citizens here? How the hell do you print money for foreign countries, but you don't print that money to help eradicate folks that are starving right here in the streets of America, who were born and raised here? This is what I'm talking about. And so when you have something like that, what's the one way to eradicate it? Yes, you got to have a flourishing economy. Yes, you can't have inflation. Yes, you can't be on the verge of a recession. Milk don't need to cost $7. Bread don't need to cost $5. Don't get me started with how much sugar costs. You can talk about employment all you want to. You can talk about the labor participation rate. But guess what? If you ain't making no damn money and you got to get 2 jobs to pay the same prices or to buy the same amount of stuff that you used to buy, and the price is higher than it used to be because of inflation, then guess what? What are you really accomplishing?
That's one thing I will say about Trump. Even though I don't trust it, I will say that when he was in office, there was a flourishing economy. You cannot deny it. But it sickens me to see them give money to foreigners before they give it to the homeless in the land that they live in. It's sad, man.
3 days of darkness will occur when the Earth passes through the photon belt. This is as the Earth enters and passes through this belt. There will be no sunlight, nor moonlight on the Earth's surface. Photons are electromagnetic particles that travel at the speed of light and will act as a barrier or temporary shield around the Earth, preventing the light of the sun or the stars from passing through it. This is expected to last 72 hours or 5 days. There are no breaks or periods of light. During the 3 days, Only darkness. Recommendations. Stock up on food, water, candles, other essential items. All sunlight will be blocked, and solar panels will not generate energy. Stay at home and avoid traveling for safety reasons. The sunlight will return to the earth, marking the beginning of the golden age.
Person, can a regressive entity take over a human body? The answer to that is absolutely yes. And the process is actually very simple. They abduct someone, they bring him to death very slowly, and the moment his last breath, his essence leaves the body, they replace it with another. Several moments later, that person, that body will rise off the table. It'll be the same physical body, but inside it has a completely different agenda because now it's a different soul. That technology does exist. Yes, I would. Yes, they do. But my understanding is that there's anywhere from 3 to 7 months where there is a transition period. And generally when it happens to a major figure, they will be out of the limelight or be very rarely seen. Okay, when that happens, because they're still adjusting. Now let's talk about that some more. The word is, well, or so what some people have said is, well, I saw them turn into a reptilian. I actually saw the reptilian. Now, that's probably very true.
Damn, he's stuttering.
Now, that doesn't mean that they're actually a reptilian and they're just, using technology to look like a human being. It's a human body. But you got to remember something. Reptilians are not used to the extremes of emotions. They don't have emotions like we do. Okay, in fact, many of the human races out there don't have the extreme of emotions that we do. So what happens is that if there's a situation where the body gets excited, because it's a human body, that's what it does. It's this huge antenna. When it gets excited, the reptilian soul inside doesn't know how to act. Okay? So he probably either gets frightened or he gets alarmed. And when he does that, because they're extremely powerful souls, okay, you see a projection of themselves. You see the projection of themselves in their auric field. You will see it, okay, because they're not used to the emotions. They don't know how to handle it. And that's part of the transition period. That's what I've been told.
That's what he been told. Key word. That's what he's been told. Can't believe everything.
New Year's Day, a group of over 200 active and retired military personnel released a document called the Declaration of Military Accountability. And the point was to inform the rest of us that the U.S. military is in fact being destroyed by the people who run it and is in fact a threat to the nation. Quote, "We hereby apprise the American people that we have exhausted all internal efforts to rectify recent criminal activity within the armed forces. While implementing the COVID-19 vaccine mandate, military leaders broke the law, trampled constitutional rights, denied informed consent, permitted unwilling medical experimentation, and suppressed the free exercise of religion. Service members and family were significantly harmed by these actions. Their suffering continues to be felt financially, emotionally, and physically. These leaders refuse to resign or take any other action to hold themselves accountable, nor have they attempted to repair the harm their policies and actions have caused. Since there is yet to be any accountability, the undersigned give our word to do everything morally permissible and legally possible to hold our own leadership accountable."
I finally understand why all these celebrities are dying and people that are influencers. I meet women with millions of followers, bro, and they seem happy on their Instagram. Bro, they're suicidal in real life, bro. They talk about killing themselves every fucking day. I went to every doctor in the world, same way Michael Jackson did, the same way Robin Williams did. They had the best therapist in the world, bro. They couldn't save them because what they were suffering from wasn't physical or mental. Yes, there's mental illness. Yes, there's physical illness, but there's also spiritual disease. And if you're trying to cure your soul with a physical remedy, it will not. So a lot of these people that are dying, when you're that famous, there's no way the eye doesn't go on. This is why so many celebrities do drugs to numb the pain. They take psychotropic drugs that are not working, because if they work, they would become normal again. They can't. It's a spiritual disease. They're under demonic attack, which is what the evil eye is, to bring them to a point of such sorrow that they kill themselves, because there's nothing more that that realm loves, that the evil ones of them, remember, they're not all evil, than a human being taking their own life. When a human being takes their own life, it's like telling the creator, this test is over. It's like if I gave you a math test for 1 hour, so you have an hour to complete geometry. In the first 5 minutes, you could turn your paper over and say, I'm done. You fail.
What's good? So check this out. I was sky watching, like, you know, like I usually do. I try to see some weird shit. Some, you know, some are unexplained. Some are just like, all right, that's not real. But I was watching the sky, and I come across something, right? This motherfucker right here. Look at this bad boy, right? That's a runway, straight out. Look at the texture on this thing, and I've seen the same pattern last week. The same fucking pattern. What are the odds of having the same weird ass pattern happen again, right? And look at the texture. That thing's massive, and look at that shit. Like, yo, for real? Is that a fucking spacecraft on that hell carrier right now? Like, are those spaceships just chilling right there? Like, they're inside the clouds, right? You know how I can tell this is real? You can see the fucking shadows of the spacecraft. You could even see people or whatever they are up there. Like, you just gotta look. Like, look at that. That is a real ship. Yo, either that's the Galactic Federation, or that's our government ready to rain down on us and say it's fucking aliens, bro. Like, bro, what are we gonna do? Let me know what y'all think, and I have more to show you guys. This is not just the only one. Deuces.
Mentor always tells me this. There's no excuse for ignorance. And it says right here, even though the United States defrauded us with the birth certificate and did all this shit secretly right in front of your face, it's still fraud. But what they say is it's not considered fraud because, look, if the owner failed to learn the law that would open the door to his remedy, if the owner, you're the owner of the straw man, the cap's name, if you failed to learn the law that would open the door to the remedies to how to pay bills, how to maneuver, and all this stuff that I'm learning. If you fail to learn that, it's not the deceiver's fault.
It's your fault.
The owner is responsible for learning the law, so he understands the profits from his things are available for him to discharge debts on charges brought against his public person, the straw man United States.
Nah, this is real. Y'all better go get this. Y'all better go get this. Meet your straw man and everything you need to know. Now, I've had this book for about, I don't know, maybe 7 years, and I always go back to it. But that book has helped me implement a lot of different things, a lot of credit debt that I literally did not have to pay. Now, that is one way you can use those funds that are attached to your Social Security number, like for real. So I strongly recommend that people get this book. Go get it. Learn what you need to know about your straw man, because your straw man ain't you. It's that person that's on the Social Security card. So yeah, some real stuff.
Well, I've been telling you this for how many years? Years.
10 at least.
It's an illusion.
How do you break the illusion? How do you get out? How does your soul move to the next level? Surely it's not, no disrespect to anybody, but surely it's not just going to church every Sunday.
No, no, I haven't been to church in a long time, and
me either.
It's not that I don't like church. I do. I think it's a great place for people to gather and meet and learn. But there's still a hole there when you leave, and always a desire to know more, to learn more. And,
yeah.
Positive. Always think positive. Never let negative thoughts in your mind. The Greeks, Dr. Zervos taught me this, that the Greeks would never say, they're so into negative and positive language because speaking negative language, even speaking it to other people, can bring negativity onto yourself.
Yeah.
How'd you learn that?
Those are facts.
I learned it from this experience.
From a download.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what the ancient Egyptians taught. It's called Heka. It's word magic. I remember being a kid and I was mad at somebody, 17 years old, and you'd say stuff like, don't talk about them. That's a negative vibration. And I'm like, what? And now I get it. At 28 years old, it's
Well, once the world awakens to getting that,
Yeah.
awakens,
positive
then
vibrations.
the negative fear that surrounds this world will subside and peace will come.
Yeah, those are facts, man. Once you find peace in yourself, like nobody can move you. But you do have to protect your peace. And it's sad that you have to literally remove yourself away from around people because they just spew negative energy wherever they go. And while they think they are doing positive things, they don't even understand the amount of negative energy they are displaying. And this is why I really don't pay attention to negative comments in the comments. But I did have to tell one commenter to watch what he says, how he speaks on this page. I would hate to just block everybody or get my moderators to block everybody that come and say something negative, because you are entitled to your opinion, but it's the way that you express your opinion and the way that you word it is everything. Wording and delivery is everything. And if you're delivering something or wording something in a disrespectful manner, I'm going to meet you with that same energy. Just because I feel like that's you expect a reaction, but I'm going to do it so intelligently and thoroughly that I won't need to continue to speak. But I digress.
Oh my God. I cannot believe I'm getting this on video. Bitch, I told you.
That's 3 sons, huh?
I ain't about to release this shit though. I'm not trying to have somebody follow me. Bro, what in the hell?
I'm not about to release this, but still releases it.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's crazy looking right there. Yeah, that's wild.
Check did not clear the bank, and so we sent the truck out to pick up the container.
I rolled out there and took the box up and started pulling it up, and it was so heavy, it's just it broke the winch, and we couldn't get it off the trailer, so we had to leave it on the trailer because it was too heavy. So I was asked by Nick to have a crew go down and unload the container at the other yard.
I got a radio call that from Ron Gillette, the foreman. They said the men were throwing up and there was something really wrong.
One of them fell down and hit me right in front of my feet, and was opened up, and there it was. And when I came to work the following day, I saw it myself. I couldn't believe it. And just, just little bitty babies, just all torn to pieces. Heads chopped off, arms, legs, it's just, well, really, it's just, it makes you want to cry when you see something like that.
Starting at the very front of this container, it was just wall clear to the ceiling and clear to the sides, filled with it.
Wow.
I really don't want to witness it again. Not what I saw.
Well, as the supervisor for the County of Los Angeles, we found out through the media that 17,000 infants had been stored in the containers.
17,000. Oh my gosh. And this looked like it happened in the late 80s. Just imagine in the 80s. I don't even know if that's late 80s or early 80s, but whatever. Just imagine how many have been transported since then. Oh man, stuff is crazy, bro.
Who cares if the earth is flat? Who cares if it's round? Doesn't matter. We just gonna live and die. Anyway, we all gonna die. Don't none of this shit matter anyway. I'll tell you why it matters. Everything that you've been programmed to believe about reality and the way this universe works is purposely designed to hide you from who you really are. It's purposely designed to hide the true children of Israel. It's purposely designed to hide you from the true divine father of creation. It's purposely designed to hide you from your roots. It's meant to hide the tree of life and the true nature of the universe. how everything is created, and the true power that we have is designed to keep you out of balance with the yin and the yang, even down to the sexual nature and the sexual energy that everybody carries, which is the most powerful energy in creation. It's so powerful, in fact, it can bring a whole body and a whole soul into this world. All we know how to do is bust a nut. We don't even know the real power of what we're playing with. So that's why it matters. It does matter. We didn't just happen by accident.
When you search and you continue to search, you know, and you get enlightened in moments, you want to scream it out to everybody. And you want to tell everybody of what you discovered. Situation, he put people in a cave, right? Or
Allegory of the cave.
Cave, right? And then all they seen was the shadows, and that's all the reality they knew. And then one guy escaped it, and then he was able to see the light and where the shadows were coming from, and he discovered the truth outside of that cave. Then he went back and tried to tell those people, yo, there's this out there, and they looked at him like a madman. Kind of same way of the things I discovered with my faith and the things that I've been enlightened with. I want to tell people.
I went through a real mental health. I mean, I don't care what nobody said. If you weren't in my shoes, you know, you didn't feel the things I felt. But I mean, if I was gonna go in, like, I'll tell you the story of it. Like, I had a supernatural spiritual experience. I can't.
Was you on something?
No, I don't do drugs, nothing.
Yeah,
It was just prayer, and nighttime, boom, it happened.
Yeah, but I spoke about this in the video before this one. Yeah. When you discover things and you find out things, it's going to be hard to digest. And that's why people start to try and go tell everybody else, because they need somebody to agree with them. And that's what actually makes people go what they call crazy, because nobody believes them and everybody say, oh, you tripping, this, that, and the third. When you find out things like that, you have to get around like-minded people. Nah, for real, I went through what he went through, and most truth seekers went through the same thing. That's why I say when you find out information, you keep it amongst yourself or find like-minded people, period. Ain't no other way around that.
Y'all see what's going on in Utah, y'all? This is in Utah. These birds are going crazy, y'all. Remember, y'all, birds are messengers. So what is going on?
They don't know where the
here
hell to go.
that
They
they
done
are
got
telling
trapped.
us? They're flying.
They
in a
missed their
phone
flight
like they're
time
confused.
to go south.
So this is in Utah, and you know the weird thing about it is, right before this huge snowstorm appeared, this was happening. This is what they were experiencing in Utah within 24 hours. Tumbleweed in the daytime, and literally within a few hours, it went to raining, then snowing, then a horrible blizzard, y'all. Check it out. You see that? Look at this. Like 10 feet, 15 feet of tumbleweed everywhere in people's driveways. And then later on in the same evening, they experiencing this. You see this? A blizzard. And they were playing in the blizzard. And Utah won too. It was like they were ready for this. Y'all see that? Here's the goal. And they won. This crazy. Tumbleweed in the daytime, blizzard in the evening, and then Utah wins. Look at that.
I'm tripping because I didn't even know Utah had a soccer team. Damn, where I been at?
These weather anomalies are increasing. They're intensifying everywhere, you guys.
Breaking news. This is the balloon that was just found in Alaska and delivered back to the government. I believe it's being taken to Virginia. Now, there's some things in here that I find that's very interesting. One is you can see the size of this. This is definitely something that's not a weather balloon, as you see here. But look at this, of the junk that's going on. You see that guy? He just spun that like a propeller, which is very interesting because people were able to see that when the balloons flew over America a little over a year ago. Also, watch this guy's hands of him picking up a cylinder piece, which is something that can go together with also this green stuff that's laying around. Now, I'm not able to show you, but if you were to zoom in on that, you can tell that that stuff is more than likely things of like a computer chip, your video cards that go into your computers. That's exactly what this type of stuff looks like. And there's a ton of this that is laying around in there. You see how there's even more that's back here. So it's interesting to what you're seeing here. The next thing is you can see that these poles are chopped up. So it makes me wonder if whoever was flying these over knew that this one dropped, came and took out the main part of it, and then was hoping that all of this stuff would sink. Next, pay attention to all these lines that are laying across here. So this is one of the balloons that was flying over last year, and this was taken by Dragon Lady. This is the wing, this is the shadow that's on the balloon. These are very large, but I want you to pay attention to the lines that are coming off of here. Those were likely to sit here and hold the stuff up, as well as tethered lines to sit there and hold it while this thing was being lifted off. But, as you see, that is possibly what all this white line is here. Now, this thing looks like it could be the top, the bottom. I have no idea of what this contraption is that's attached to the balloon. I'll play the video so you can see it, but yeah, I just have no idea of what that is. So do you think that this is a different type of balloon, like a weather balloon? Or do you think that this is one of those balloons that is taking place? Also, by the way, I will tag this gentleman in the comments. Take care. God bless.
Yeah, it looked like Project Loon, that experiment a while back that they did to try to expand the internet's connectivity. I don't know, bro. But a lot of people gonna say they did that because you know what. But I ain't here to talk about that.
The only thing all 535 members of fucking Congress can fucking agree on is to ban TikTok. That's it. That's the only thing. I heard him talking about raising the minimum wage. Can't fucking agree on that. Heard about talking about trying to keep prescription drug prices low for people. Nope, can't agree on that. I heard him talking about the border. Can't agree. Can't even agree where the fucking border is. But when it comes to banning TikTok, line up, buddies. Bring your fucking Instagram and Microsoft money down here. Line it up here in our lobby. Oh, let me heat it up. I'm going to protect your privacy by banning TikTok. Don't you watch Risa Tisa? Don't you learn how to cook pasta right way? Don't you find out more about the history of this great nation? Don't you notice that this Congress, 250 years after the first Continental Congress convened in Philadelphia, has done less than any Congress in the history of this goddamn nation? No. The only thing, this gaggle of 535 of the richest, most powerful, welfare queens being paid on a government dime can agree on is that I can't watch fucking tiki-talkies. Suck my...
Nah, for real. I feel his frustration, man. Because you mean to tell me, out of all the issues that we've had in this country, you found that banning TikTok was something y'all could agree on? That all of them, I'm talking about every last one of them. This is crazy, man.
Got 40 acres and a mule when they freed us.
We ain't never been free.
Oh, man. That's some
free what? Free to do what?
That's some...
Free to go get a white man's job and go watch some football and watch some basketball and buy a little old jewelry. Free? Free to do what? You don't make no law. You don't manufacture nothing. You don't produce nothing. So where's your freedom at? And if the Negro don't have that white boy, he in trouble. He don't know how to eat. He don't know how to eat. The only way he don't know how to eat, he got to go fill out the application. He got to go get that job and got to stay on that job and do what the master said do.
So giving us 40 acres would have been giving us too much power back then.
They ain't going to give you shit.
Hell no.
Why? They ain't gave you
Why would they
nothing
make it
in
that
all
easy for
these
you?
years. They give an immigrant or a refugee more than they give slave descent. Now, they might give you something because you got a Nigerian. You consider the immigrant. I go up there and ask them for something, well, yeah, I'll give you shit. You got to still take what you want. Fuck you. Excuse me, ma'am, I'm sorry.
No, please.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, but they ain't give you nothing.
Basically.
They ain't giving you nothing when they give you 40 acres and a mule. They come over here and took this land from the Indians. Now, how they gonna give me something? This God's land. God put this land here for man. You done gathered it all up. Now you gonna dictate to what you gonna do on it too? That 1700 law? Man, that shit don't work no more. Everybody over here now. Every tongue is in America. America's Babylon. And everybody hate one another. They all doing one another every kind of way.
Yeah.
If a person got a country to go to where's a culture, why did he leave that country where's a culture at to come over here where there ain't no culture? Especially, we ain't no culture. Black man ain't no culture. He gave up his culture. He didn't want to follow what the slaves done or what the slaves passed down. He did what Dr. King said do. He went and got that white boy's education. Now he that white boy. And he think that white boy is Superman. That white boy ain't Superman. Iran, Iraq, all these countries is rebelling against him right now. Putin would want to fire on him so fast he don't know what to do.
If we set a glass of water or any container of water in a ring, the water immediately begins to emit light. You can't see it with the naked eye, but it can be measured with various instruments. And we find full visible spectrum as well as ultraviolet being naturally emitted from the light under stimulation by this energy field.
The other thing I do, I use my tools on energizing water, and that's absolutely fantastic. My energy level has gone up tremendously.
Since we are light bodies and all of our communications within the body takes place through electrons or photons, the amount of photonic energy in the body is increased. Consequently, the energy level of the body is increased. So drinking water potentized with a ring has quite beneficial effects in both short and long term.
I love the rings, and I have big rings underneath my bed, and I sleep over them. So I have them, along the chakras, and I find that just helps me sleep really well. I also love the little rings that I can wear as bracelets. So if I have a long day typing at the computer, then I'll often put these on my arms, and I find that it just really helps me remain calm. And I've never, had any repetitive stress injury or any problems that are associated with a lot of computer use. I use it on my food as well. I put the food on a plate and that on top of the rings. I find with fruit, for example, when I had some friends round and I cut up some apples and some pears, and after a few minutes, these apples, they go brown. Well, my friend Jackie came round and she said, hang on a minute, how long have these apples been on the plate for? They're not going brown. I said, I know. They're on these rings. So it's fantastic. I seem to give extra life force, energy, and, as we're made out of water, mainly water, it has a wonderful effect on you.
Where do they come from? Oh my God, how did they come from?
Yeah, that was weird. It did look like a big turtle, like a ninja turtle or something, I don't know. But hey, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna leave it here. There are a lot of things that we gotta educate ourselves on. Just like Ryan Garcia was speaking on stepping outside of your that cave. And when I say circle of knowledge, that's just my analogy, and he was using the cave as an analogy. And either way, I'm pretty sure y'all get the message that's trying to be conveyed here, right? But if you stay within that same vicinity, man, like, you're gonna always run with one thing. You're never gonna consider the possibilities. And in order for you to become powerful and to become your true self, you have to believe in those things that they say aren't real. And the only way that you can believe in it and understand how real it is if you educate yourself on it. So get out there, man, and do some reading. I have never said that reading was bad, but all I'm saying is that if I learn something from a book and I give it to you, I'm only giving you what somebody else wrote. A book like this is not written by anybody. This is a guide to help you understand the rights that you possess to make your life a whole lot better than what it is now. A book with an author is totally different. That information is coming from somebody else's mouth. This information ain't coming from nobody else's mouth. It's coming from laws that these people did their due diligence on and went and found and inspected and found the loopholes for people like you and me. So we can understand that there are things we can do to make life that much easier. But if you're scared to step outside of that circle of knowledge, then you won't know things like this. You will only trust in whoever you worship. And that's fine if that's what you want to do. But I'm just trying to say, all I'm trying to say is that is not ultimately the answer. Even in your Bible, it says, he who seeks the truth shall find it. And I don't even know what verse it is, but it's in Proverbs. It said, happy is the man that finds wisdom and gets understanding. Like, real talk. If you don't go outside of that knowledge, the Bible even tells you to go outside of me and go read other books. Get this knowledge. Learn some things. Make your life that much better. God can't do nothing until you take the first step, right? But hey, like I always say, do what you will with that information. And hey, if you like what you saw, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you know when I upload. And remember, challenge the argument and not the person.